Today I'm going to show you guys a tuning setup for the Porsche 918 SPYDER in the Crew 2. And the Porsche 918 SPYDER is a car that I have used a lot within the Crew 2. It's actually my favorite car, IRL. That I don't know, I just think it looks beautiful, and the fact that it's a hypercar is also a factor. But anyway, I've been using this a lot in the Crew 2. And I've been messing around with the tuning a little bit, so I've been trying to increase the speed with it, and also trying to keep the handling absolutely perfect. And I think I've come up with one of the best, I guess, setups that are out there for the SPYDER. So we're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to show you guys what my pro settings are for this car. So I've changed a lot of stuff, so you know. If I go over to the tunings, you can see where the dot is resembles the default settings. And you're going to see that I've changed so much with this car to try and get a lot of, I guess, a bit more power out of it, a bit more speed, while trying to keep the handling almost the same without it sliding as well. Now, I will say that the default for this car is absolutely beautiful. The default settings for this car, like, it turns so well. You can go around the corner at 400 kilometers an hour. It's absolutely perfect. However, I think the car sometimes really struggles with high-end acceleration, as well as I guess keeping a grip while turning corners as well. Now, the SPYDER is a car that people like to use as well because it's got really good wall grind capabilities, which a lot of hypercars don't have. The only other car I think that has it is the Agera, but obviously the Agera has a higher top speed, so it's normally better. But this is my setup right now for the SPYDER. So as you can see, full traction control, full ABS with ESP and slide help off. ESP is off because we want as much power from the car as possible, so we can accelerate as fast as possible. And then we have the specific tunings right here. So originally the aero distribution is towards the middle. I've moved it to the rear. And a lot of these things are to counter that change as well. So because if you move it to the rear, your car won't turn anymore. It's got so much understeer, it's unreal. So a lot of the settings I have changed is to counter that understeer. But basically moving it to the rear means that the car is faster overall. It gains speed faster as well because it's gripping a lot more with the rear tires. I moved the distribution of the power to almost the middle. The back tires have a little bit more power than the front, but I've mainly shifted it. As you can see, it's normally at the back, which is here. And I've shifted it towards the front, which is here, just one off the middle. And what this does is it keeps it a little bit more stable on the ground. You're not wheel spinning a lot, so you can actually use all that power that you've got in the car. Gearbox is the same. As I was saying before, the acceleration in the car at the top end speeds is really difficult. It's really slow, and there's a way to counter that if you load a lot of your boost until you reach about 350, 360 kilometers an hour, if you use all your boost then, the car is absolutely beautiful, and it will actually reach speeds of 420, 430, 440 kilometers an hour, which you really need if you want to compete against the Ageras or the Regeras. Tire grip I haven't really changed, especially the front. I've changed the back a little bit to produce a little bit of oversteer. So once I change this aero distribution, I couldn't turn it all. And a way to counter that was to add a little bit of oversteer to the back. So I lowered it a tiny bit, and now it just turns. It's amazing. I've not touched the brake power. This could be personal preference if you really want to touch the brake power and the brake balance. But honestly, I think the brakes are already good as they are. So for the suspension comp, I've moved them all the way to the front as well as the reps. And the reason for this was when you're using a hypercar, you don't really want to be going off-road. And the reason for the suspension is to soften the jumps that are happening off-road to keep speed and whatever, and to keep you under control. And if you're going for world records, like, I tell you something, even if you put these to max here, you're still, like, even from skipping tracks and whatever, you're still going to have a lot of speed with this car. Like, this car is absolutely insane in off-roads. And I'm going to show you in a little bit. But putting all these to the front here, apart from one on the comps on both the front and the rear, put it all the way to plus, it's absolutely amazing. And like I said, it doesn't really affect dirt whatsoever. To spend some GM cambers, I moved the front camber a little bit back to apply a little bit more grip to the front when going around corners, but less grip on straights. So most of the power is at the back of the car. Well, I say most, like a little bit more power is at the back of the car. So changing the front camber a little bit to produce more grip on the front was a little bit better for us to get around corners. So I moved that down a little bit, leaving the rear exactly how it was before. It was absolutely perfect on the rear. And then you've got the anti-roll bars. I only changed, well, I say I only changed, I changed the front and the rear, so they were both in line. And this helped a lot. This actually drastically changed the handling of this car, and it started turning beautifully again. I'm not really too sure how changing these things. I just messed around with them, did some trial and error, and this is the best I come up with. And the car still turns absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to show you guys a little bit of, I guess, gameplay with this car, and to show you how well it handles.
When I'm with you, I am able to keep pushing my limits, and all the drive that I have, well, I'm going the distance with you. Remember, the trail's counting on us. I didn't know what I had till I knew what was missing, and everything that I dread, well, I built a resistance with you. Catch me when I fall, and I'll keep you off the ground. You were gone, I wish you'd stay. I could look at you for days. Time was well spent, that's when I knew that I need to spend my life here with you. Take your time, not in the fast lane. I understand that you've been broken too many times, but I'll be waiting to mend your wounds from all you've taken. But if we listen to each other, admit our mistakes, then I can show you who I am, because I'm not the same. I'm better with you. I'm better with you. I'm better with you. Catch me when I fall, and I'll keep you off the ground. That's when I knew that I need to spend my life here with you.
Don't feel fucking to me. 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 Come on. Don't feel fucking to me. Don't feel fucking to me. Come on. Don't feel fucking to me. Don't feel fucking, 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 fucking.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Yeah, I've discussed it with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face, a certain weight, because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10.